Yeah, no, I get it. The initiative is great and all, but I kind of miss Monarch. I wish they would print some. Oh, yes. Before I get started here, Mark Bost 6915 and Renta Buddha, I owe you 2 gift cards from winning my giveaway from last week. Please get in touch with me either via Twitter or via email. With that being said, hello, folks. Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU, here for another Legacy video. I'm recording this one on my birthday, and today's video is going to be a little bit special. We'll get to that in a minute. But we're going to begin today by talking about Forth Eorlingas, or something like that. From my cursory glance at the lore, Eorl is a king of some kind, and Ingas is like a suffix that means like the people of. So like this is like go forth, you group of people. It's not the name of a horse. I kind of looked at the card and thought it was going to be the name of the horse. Like Shadowfax or something. All right, moving on. This card is sweet. This card saw some play in the top 8 of the recent Legacy 10K in the hands of Quinn Tonole, 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 not sure on pronunciation there. And I'm really intrigued to try this one out. Kind of going into the rule text a little bit. You get to create a bunch of human knight creatures with trample and haste. And the idea is that you attack with these and then you become the monarch. But you don't necessarily have to deal the combat damage with the knights that you create. Those aren't linked effects. So imagine that you play a turn 1 creature, and thus just on turn 2, you can go red white, play this, attack with a creature, deal combat damage to the player, become the monarch, and for 2 mana, you are the monarch. And that is an insane rate for a one-sided Howling Mine. Unlike many other token producers as well, for each value of X that you put in, you are getting 2 power with Trample and Haste. Whereas a lot of times these sorts of effects are like, yeah, you can have a 1/1 soldier token for each mana that you play. That's not what's going on here. This is just much, much, much stronger than that. Now, if you'll allow me a brief digression here, I want to wax poetic about the Miracles era of Legacy for a minute. In that time, Palace Jailer was a fantastic way for fair decks like Death and Taxes to compete against the card advantage and selection that decks like Miracles offered. However, over time, Monarch cards have seen less and less play in Legacy, and there's a really obvious and clear reason for that. And it kind of has to do with like fire design and a lot of the supplementary sets that have happened. Prior to a lot of these sets, control decks in Legacy were incredibly creature light, traditionally winning the game with planeswalkers like Jace the Mind Sculptor. But over time, blue control decks have adopted more and more creatures just kind of into their main deck. And now, when you think blue control, like the first card that you think of is probably something like Uro, right? Or maybe your head goes to something powerful like Endurance as well. The blue decks incidentally have many creatures, a lot of which end up having flash. Fairy Mastermind is another thing I could have put on screen just as easily here. And because of that, your Monarch is just not as safe as it used to be. And that's going to leave us in a bit of an interesting position in terms of deck building around this card. To the surprise of no one, today's deck is going to feature a lot of fast mana, the traditional like Chrome Mox, Lotus Petal, Ancient Tomb sort of stuff. But we're also going to try out a spicy one of Gemstone Cavern today and see how that feels. This is essentially supposed to operate as another copy of Chrome Mox that helps you catch up when you are on the draw. And the difference in that extra mana is pretty huge, especially since in theory you could take the Monarch on turn 1 if everything lined up properly. Let's go ahead and take a look at today's deck list in full now. Now, today's video is sponsored by both Cool Stuff Inc. and Moxfield.com. Remember, if you end up needing to buy some wonderful Boros cards, promo code ThrabenU will save you 5% over at Cool Stuff Inc. So what you're seeing here is essentially a relatively stock red-white initiative deck list that has sort of slotted in the Monarch cards as well. Note that we're looking to be pretty low to the ground. We're not trying to incorporate like the maximum amount of Monarch we can by slotting in things like Palace Jailer as well. Instead, we're looking to mostly play an initiative game, and we have maybe a little bit less hate in this deck list than you might be used to. A lot of times you'll see some sort of Thalia or some other 3 mana hate bear in this deck list kind of rounding out things. But these slots have to come from somewhere. Quinn's original deck list played 3 copies of this card. I'm not sure if you want the fourth. The fourth is interesting because it's a really good card to put under Chrome Mox. A red-white Ancient Tomb / City of Traders deck list actually has a lot worse mana than you think it would. So having a red-white card to put under Chrome Mox is good. If you watched any of my Winota videos, you've probably seen that. This exact 75 comes from Luanil, who made some adjustments to Quinn's original build. So the goal here is that between the Gemstone Caverns, the Chrome Mox, the Petals, the Spirit Guides, and Fable of the Mirror Breaker, we have enough glue and enough mana to kind of hold together the rest of this deck list. And I like how this deck list looks. We're going to have the option to board out our Chalice of the Voids for Swords to Plowshares in our creature-based matchups, and we have a couple of I win buttons like Magus of the Moon in the sideboard as well to kind of round out some more difficult matches. Since I know I'll get questions about it, there's Fairy Macabre versus Leyline of the Void, and either one of those cards is absolutely justifiable. One of the upsides of going with the Fairy is that Serenity doesn't just hit all of your stuff. You've probably seen plenty of times on video where I will go and I'll like have a Chalice of the Void and a Leyline versus Reanimator, and they will just go land, Lotus Petals, Serenity, and nuke all of your stuff. With Fairy, they have to respect things in your hand as well as things on the battlefield, and that can be pretty strong. The Fairy won't always be better versus some of the graveyard decks. Sometimes you just need a harder stop than just a Fairy, and Fairy has the downside of being able to be taken by discard. So, like, the cards are different. One is not strictly better than the other or anything like that. It's an active choice you are going to make in terms of deck building. Alright, last thing before I get started, I'm doing this video as a birthday stream. So while my deck tech was recorded in advance and was kind of scripted and laid out, the rounds will be played live with a bunch of viewers kind of chatting with me as well. So there'll be a little bit more in terms of distraction and casual banter instead of an entirely focus on strategy on today's video. Let me know in the comments below whether this is something you like or dislike. I'm going to take that feedback very seriously for whether or not I consider doing more of this. Alright, let's battle. All right, looking at the opening hand here, it is very obviously a keep. There's some questions for how I should play it exactly, depending on what the matchup is. Seasoned Dungeoneer is almost certainly a pitch to Solitude, and kind of the question is going to be, are we just going to Fable of the Mirror Breaker on turn 1, or do we want to do some other thing? Bones, it's a pretty good time to message me. Things are okay. Shrapnel Blast? Legacy League. Okay. All right. Painter? Spicy Painter? Yeah. So there comes a point in every man's life where he has to ask whether or not he's willing to Solitude a Bomat Courier. I think the answer is no, I'm not. I think we're just going to let that go. All right. That is a draw. I really wanted another red card as my draw in sort of my ideal world. If I give up on needing to remove Bomat Courier, I Chrome Mox, Imprint Solitude, pitch Spirit Guide City, play Seasoned Dungeoneer on turn 1, I can do that while playing a Chalice on 0 to stop future artifact mana. I don't really know what my opponent's doing, but I think I'm down with just taking the initiative here. Taking the initiative means that I can pick up a red mana source to Caves of Chaos Adventurer next turn as well. And in the absence of knowing what exactly my opponent is doing, I think I like this. I eat shit to a Shrapnel Blast, I eat shit to a Shrapnel Blast. Look, I understand rooting for the Bomat Courier. I truly do. Oh, second haste creature is a little annoying. Happy birthday to me, I guess. Okay. All right. They woke up and chose violence. So I would like to attempt to take the initiative back. And we're going to be able to make an absolutely massive creature here. So this will play around some of my opponent's removal. And I have the largest creature on board, and still will have the largest creature on board even after Urza's Saga. Yeah, Improvised Club is new. It's from the Lord of the Rings set. I played with and against it in limited. And it's pretty good in Pauper as well. I recorded a video that'll come out probably on Tuesday of next week, where that card looked pretty hot. I don't know what they're cooking, but I'm here to let them cook. I hope the Pauper video does well. Wait, gotta face that way. There we go. Alright, Synthesizer. Yeah, like, Shrapnel Blast does 5, whereas Improvised Club does 4, and that difference is super, super relevant here with this exact text. Okay, cool. We'll trap my opponent. Okay, how big is this? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total toughness. I could cast this and become the Monarch. Alternatively, I could just attack with this and attempt to cast... Like, I could... No, I can't rip a Chromox or Petal off the top for bonus mana. Like, really awkward if I cast this and my opponent throws everything in front, but if they throw everything in front, I'm still, like, alive. In the absence of another play, YOLO. Chip on in there. A Solitude. That's not going to do me a lot of good right now. Oh, I did miss Great Furnace, you're right. I still think I need to be the beatdown here, though. Like, as odd as it is to say, I'm probably not winning the long game right now. The glorious thing about YouTube editing is that I can just drop all these long thinking moments from the videos. Whereas when I entertain you all live, I can't do that. I'll have to say other things. Okay. So make your token. I will become the pretty princess. I'm not hitting the extra mana that I need here. I'm probably not dead on their turn. I probably take a lot of damage. Shadow Spear is something that could be coming. I did find my Twitch login. Kept it on a piece of paper taped under my keyboard, where it would be safe. I write Spellbomb. So on board, I've got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 damage. Which is not dead, but it's pretty close to it. Yeah, like, streaming is a cooperative thing, right? Like, I play the thing and banter, but you all get to kind of steer the banter ship a little bit. Interesting, they're going down the Scry side rather than the Forge side. Mono uncastables here. Dead? Feels like dead. Let's pack this one in and try again. I wasn't, like... Not that one. I wasn't super expecting to, like, lose the first initiative creature. Like, normally when you're outside of 3 damage, or, like, killing your creature, you're just kind of good. So I feel like I'm interested in these 6 cards, which probably means that I drop Chalice. Like, Chalice is interesting as a way to stop experimental synthesizers. Doing it on 0 is a little bit risky. So Chalice for Swords is probably my easy sub, and then I figure out like what I want to do for Lauren. So I could cut a couple copies of this here without necessarily missing them. Touch the Spirit Realm's pretty slow as a removal spell. I think I'm going to start there. Archon's pretty good when I'm on the play, especially since a lot of my opponent's lands aren't actual mountains. Then I'm probably just going to trim one of these to play Lauren. Hello and welcome. We're down a game versus a very spicy pile. So, my turn 1, I Plateau Lotus Petal. My turn 2, I Ancient Tomb. I make 2 hasty creatures. Attack for 4, become the Monarch. Is that good? Normally, I would say yes, like resounding yes, but my opponent has multiple 1-mana haste creatures, which can just take the Monarch back. And that becomes a lot more awkward. So I kind of feel like I'm supposed to mulligan this, but I am in like 0 heuristics territory for how I should actually play this out. I think this is a mulligan. I'm going to keep it for science just to see how this feels. I don't super care about my record today so much as I'm interested in learning. And I think I will go ahead and play the Lotus Petal out in case things get weird over there somehow. Like my opponent were to Chalice on 0 or something. Yeah, I forget what I was recording, but I ran into a similar thing where I had too many pitch cards for what I was actually capable of supporting. Pyrite Spellbomb is not a problem. Take your card. Oh, there's a white card for Solitude. That makes this play very good. Forth Eorlingas. Yeah, this is solid. So there's 4 damage. I am the pretty princess. Ooh. Any initiative creature is now a very good draw. Miss Gamer, I will post a link after this match and get that all good to go. Gondor does indeed call for aid. Yeah, we're just going to not. While I was not excited about doing this last game, I'm quite excited about doing it here when it guarantees just another turn cycle of me holding the monarchy. All right, don't want these lands here. Whether I attack with one or both is like a very good question. I am going to go with both. I do want to try and end this game. Yes, this is fine. And if I hold one back, my opponent just like Pyrite Spellbombs the one that I hold back. I don't know what Cavern should be on yet, so I'm just going to go ahead and play Caracas and move to my end step. Too much mana. No, we did not have to attack with both tokens last turn. I could have attacked with one. But like when I have no gas in hand, I think I have to like respect the individual points of damage a whole lot. Like I can play much more conservatively and try to hold Monarch, but my opponent is playing a bunch of removal and could just deploy multiple haste creatures. Like especially because of like how Trap in particular changes the game. Ooh, that Urza Saga is spooky. I think I want to deal as much damage as I can. Okay, Archon is great. Currently shouldn't have a need to make anything uncounterable. Activate only as a sorcery. We're good there. I guess we'll battle. Opponent drops to 13. Go ahead and play this out prior to going and playing my Archon. And as of right now, I don't think I need to leave up Caracas. I guess the punish is drawing Swords to Plowshare specifically, which might force me to use a Lotus Petal. It never fails, man. It never fails. Thank you, Jerry. I hope all is well. Improvised club. Sure. Goodbye, my beautiful bird. No, I think it's my job to say the worst possible outcome. Felchmaster, unless there's any problems, I don't think we need 1 month follower only mode on. There's probably a lot of people who are just going to pop in to say hi. But if I'm wrong and I missed some comments or something that need to be deleted, go ahead and take care of that. All right. So if I attack in, I've still just got a swords for that construct token. That all is still fine. Oh, that was an accident. Okay, that's fine. Undo one convenient. I'll just put this on human. Continue to just beat down with my lone knight over there. Yeah, man, you have powers from the ancient times. I hope all's well. Haven't talked to you in ages, but thanks for helping me put together my computer eons ago. That was very much appreciated. All right. Now that I know what I'm doing, the editing time isn't really that bad, but as you might have seen, sometimes there's hiccups. Bomat Courier with haste is a little rough here. I'm getting better at catching my mistakes, though. No, the content creation stuff has been going super well. Alright. Alright, so I'm not the Monarch, but I can take the initiative at least. But my opponent just has so many hasty creatures here. Like, it's a little brutal. Like, normally you have a little bit of a warning between, like, seeing something come down and it being able to take the initiative or the monarchy, and that's just, like, not true here. Yeah, if we were to top another one of these bad boys, it would be looking pretty hot. Kinda, I've played with a lot of the Lord of the Rings stuff in EDH in particular. A lot of those cards are very good. Oh, gross. My opponent's deck is kind of wild and surprisingly good against what I am doing here. But yeah, I shouldn't concede before I'm dead because of the power of this card. Got two more. One ring is going to... Wow, yeah, this we've seen in Pauper as well as Limited. Oh, two Cast into the Fires. Okay. Like, obviously working. But why? Got an Archon. Flooded out pretty hard this game. 10, 11 mana sources to 6 non-mana sources. Look, if you told me today that I was going to run into Experimental Synthesizer, Improvised Club, Shrapnel Blast, and Cast into the Fire in the same deck that had Bomat Courier, I would have called you a liar, but here we are. Alright, I'm eating 6 damage. Like, my opponent now gets more chances at drawing these burn spells. Alright, I think I pre-combat this. And I attempt to attack in with this and see if it works. Which I'm honestly not super hopeful about. Yup. And now I don't get to forge this up. I will make my land drop, call it a turn. I have to probably chump block this construct token on my turn. Oh, right, trap just happens. Definitely have to chump block the construct token. I'm dead to any number of different burn spells. Yeah, we'll see how good this card is today, but like, imagine if I had top decked it over the last couple of turns. It would have been brutal. GG's. Today's video is sponsored by moxfield.com, just the best place to keep your online deck lists, and the reason I say that is it just has so much functionality. So for example, let's take a look at some random legacy deck here. You can click on your various 2-drop slots and you can see what % chance you have of casting various things on curve, and you can get a breakdown of your mana symbols and all of that stuff, and there's a lot more here than just this. Consider checking it out. Alright, I'm keeping my opening hand. I get to start with a Gemstone Caverns in play, and I probably pitch one of the Ancient Tombs here, meaning that this taps for mana of any color. We probably go turn 1 Archon and Petal, turn 2 Seasoned Dungeoneer. I could change my mind, or I could get Thoughtseized. Ignoble Hierarch. I still think I'm probably starting on Archon here. Like, it is just a very powerful play. And this is probably not enough information for me to tell what deck my opponent is on. If they are on an Elves deck, maybe an Elves deck, it's not actually all that great to go and play Chalice at the Void because things like Allosaurus Shepherd exist that kind of invalidate a lot of the things that I could be doing. And Archon probably slows my opponent down pretty significantly anyway. Yeah, okay, yeah. First of all, how dare you? How dare you shut off my Lotus Petal? And my Lotus Petal's cousin, more other Lotus Petal. So each player can't cast more than one spell each turn. Just kind of keep that in mind. That is symmetrical. We'll go ahead and drop a Seasoned Dungeoneer as my play for turn. And I'll use that to, I think, just grab a mountain here. It doesn't matter too much as long as this land actually sticks around. And we're going to go ahead and take our beatdowns and send our opponent to 17. Morning, Obosh. Yeah, this is Elves, or what Elves kind of looks like now, which is more of a Fiend Artisan deck than anything else. Grist is quite strong here. The opponent can kill my Seasoned Dungeoneer, take the initiative, and force me to choose between killing Grist or taking the initiative back, which is a bit of a difficult spot to be in. And I'm just hoping to top deck some gas here. Well. Oh my god. I'm a believer in this card. I am such a believer in this card. Wow. Just wow. At Grist. I think I just ship it at their face. Okay, yeah, one of those is still going at Grist. Like, I can hold back and keep the Collector Oof from going and taking the initiative back, but... Oh! What is this game that we call Magic the Gathering right now? Like... Oh my god. Yeah, you can attack. You're probably dead. Esther, thank you very much for the support. Yeah, Bones, this card feels good. Yep. So, Chalice for Swords is easy, and then I have to decide how many of these 5 cards that I want to play after that. The issue in this matchup is that, like, a lot of my cards are just reasonable in one capacity or another, and with this build specifically, I'm used to having more kind of bad cards that are easier to sideboard out, but, like, I don't sideboard out this in this matchup, I don't think, given, like, how good it was that game. Abel's often the glue holding together these decks. It may be expendable here. Touch the Spirit Realm feels expendable. Like, I could go 5 for 5. I'm going to think about it for a second. Just kind of feels like Fable on the draw is going to run into just a big booty Fiend Artisan a lot of the time. I think I'm down with this plan. Just keep my initiative things, have a decently high percentage of removal while also having something that just shuts off Gaia's Cradle. My opponent's deck doesn't play all that many basics either. I think this is reasonable. I don't think I mulligan this, but it doesn't look tasty. This produces a turn 1 Chaos of Chaos Adventurer and probably a turn 2 Containment Priest. I think I'm keeping that. It's very awkward against turn 1 Dork into Snuff Out. It's also awkward against Thoughtseize. But I think you've gotta take some risks here. Dewy Swords too. Dewy Swords too. I don't usually play 8 cards on turn 1. But when I do, it feels pretty good. I'm gonna tell Bryant I played a Storm deck today. Storm is 4. Storm is 5. Pick up a mountain. And we'll end the turn with Tendrils of Agony, destroying Dryad Arbor, or something like that. I don't know how Storm works. Oh, there's the Snuff Out. It is probably a misplay to Snuff Out at that spot, though. Like, I've got one card left. It's very unlikely to be the Blinky thing, Touch the Spirit Realm. And because of that, I think you wait until I target my creature with Forge on my next turn, because now I know that I need to scry 2 to find a body to put into play instead, and I found one. Modern Cavern, top Archon. We'll just drop this into play. Yeah, playing your entire hand on turn 1 is like a reasonable thing to do in both Legacy and Vintage, but you usually don't play your entire hand when you like have a bunch of 4-drops in your deck. That's a bit rarer. Yeah, Brooke, that's an even better point. Like, they know it's the mountain because I revealed it to Caves of Chaos Adventurer, right? Yeah, so just fully the wrong line. We'll see if the mistake gets punished. Like, everything that I have is currently on board, and I'm kind of going down the wrong side of the dungeon for this matchup. Like, in an ideal world, I just kind of crack my opponent pretty hard. Stash here means that 4-drops off the top are live. An initiative creature would be clutch here. Another Archon. So now becomes the more difficult question of, like, am I attacking with Archon here? If I hold back both Archons, I'm much better against removal. But if I hold back my Archons and I don't press the life total advantage as much as possible, I'm more likely to die to Natural Order or a large green sun or anything like that. So Gaia's Cradle is 2/3/4 mana. Natural Order is already live for next turn. Green Sun for Grist is already pretty bad. I don't have Fury in my deck to wipe the board. I don't know. If I hold for another turn or two, I get Throne of the Dead 3, which is good. This is very reluctant. I'm not going to attack, and I'm not happy about it. Hoo-hoo! It's here, folks. It's here. We are playing Magic. It's the extended art one, too. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. There's a hoof. That's 20 incoming points of power. A block is forced, and I'm probably not winning the game from here. Yeah, and the Bowmasters is 2 bodies for the purposes of Crater Hoof, which was just gross as well. I can pretend I'm still playing Magic, but I'm comfortable conceding here. And we'll go to game 3. Edan, thanks for the support. Newton's deck has been given too much power. My Fable of the Mirrorbreaker is a little bit better on the play. I think I'm just going to run things back. I called that Snuff Out was potentially going to be a problem, but that was not great. Okay, what are we doing? 1, 2... 1, 2... I can take the Monarch on turn 1. Like 2/2 Monarch, attempt to play into Caves of Chaos Adventurer on turn 2 some portion of the time. I'm gonna keep this. Again, I want to learn how good it is to just like take the Monarch that quickly. This is white, red, 1. I think that 1 is this mana source. I guess this is like super soft to Snuff Out specifically. The thing that is in my opponent's deck. But I still think I go for it. Opponent's sitting here pausing on my Chrome Box. I wonder if they have like a Force of Vigor. Oh, they do. Doesn't tap for mana right now. That is a 2-for-1 in my favor. I will obviously not imprint. So now I just take it on turn 2 instead. I could play this out so it can't get Thought Seized. I don't think I'm concerned about that, though. I will probably just immediately Swords any creature that my opponent plays. Just because, like, the Monarch is something that I am about to introduce to this game. We'll go ahead and take that out. Oh, surely that's the play, right? That dodges Snuff Out, that shuts off their green mana. I just, like, I want you, but there's another woman. Alright, Magus of the Moon. Let's go. I even had, like, a basic Plains, too. Like, that's gross. Will you dagger me with basic forest in your hand? No. And what's more, Gondor calls for aid. This deck is so cool. And like probably legitimately good in some capacity as well. GG's. All right, round 3. This hand is a keep. I get to lead on City of Traders into Chalice, followed up with an Archon of Emeria. Unless we pivot and play Chalice on 0. I was kind of thinking this was going to be a Chalice on 1 hand, and it still probably continues to be. Or maybe it's no Chalice at all. No Chalice at all. Take your card for Bauble. That is not what I want to see here. We're chilling. If we're playing against something like Doomsday, my opponent might have a window this turn to do something cool. Otherwise, Archon gets in play and things get to be a little more interesting. Yeah, I love that I have just like the middle of my day open right now to just like do whatever I want. It's quite nice. Badlands. Okay. Well, I'm kind of in a 0 decisions game right now. I'm just like playing the card that I can play, just hands off the steering wheel, hoping the self-driving car does its work. Kind of feel like this is about to get lightning bolted. Oh, it's about to get snuff outed instead. Am I playing against Shadow? Grixis Shadow? Snuff out is unlikely to be a Storm deck, like, because a lot of the Storm decks use Ad Nauseam, so like you don't want too many cards that impact your own life total. Oh, this is actually a little awkward because of Cavernous Soul's mana here. Like, this is still my play for this turn, but to set up for the future, I probably have to start playing Plateaus now and sacrificing this city, which is always something that I wouldn't necessarily want to do. Whoa, man. He's everywhere. All right. Monarch. Okay. Well, folks, this game is probably going to get a little weird and uncomfortable. And I'm honestly not a fan. Like, I don't know how deep my opponent is going to go. Like, this could just be, like, Orcish Bowmasters as a reasonable Magic the Gathering card. What does that mean? Are you going to make me draw cards at instant speed? Do you have a 2 damage spell? So it could be 2 damage spell. Could be push. I think I just don't block. Another orc. Yeah. Alright, you're amassed. So do I do this? It seems bad. It seems really bad. These trigger separately. Like, the force draw would kill the human knight that I make on its own. How do I beat this? It's not play this for X's 1. And it's probably not play this for X's 2 either. I'm gonna go ahead and pass the turn here. I'm gonna try to pump the brakes, keep these Orcish Bowmasters from attacking. Like, I could play this and just make a 2/2 and not become the Monarch, and like that is, I guess, reasonable. But I think instead I'm gonna try to like 2-shot my opponent. Dragon Rage Channeler as well. Okay, this deck looks sweet. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna play a Chalice on X's 1 this turn, and then play Forth into Forth over the next couple of turns, and hope that that gets there. Let's see how this feels. It's in play. I don't know how much that actually means. I don't have like a sweeper or anything for small creatures here. Like, my Kingdom for a Fury in this matchup is basically where I'm at. They're thinking about this Orc attack. I didn't block last time around. It's possible this is a bluff. It's also possible that they have another Bowmasters, and blocking would be a disaster. 5 puts me to 11. Still alive if I get smacked for 7 the following turn. I think I do no block. I also think it's third Bowmaster. Okay, we'll take that. That's a freebie for me. My opponent may just be doing that to surveil. I don't know, I've got days to think about as well. Okay. So I can, in theory, attack for 10 this turn. And then try to finish my opponent off the next turn. Whether or not I play around days is a concern there. I can do uncounterable Caves of Chaos Adventurer. But this 3/3 flyer in the air is kind of a problem. So there's that. Streak, thank you very much for the continued support. You can do Forth for X equals 3, attack for 8. And finish the following turn while playing around days. I don't think I hate that. I think that's where I'm going to settle here. Alright, X is 3, playing around days. I guess the math got harder with Orcish Bowmasters. I didn't account for the extra damage at my end step. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus 4, 11. Inconvenient. Maybe I don't attack this turn and introduce Monarchy into the game. If I introduce Monarchy into the game, I just die. I just save these 2/2s and they do the same thing next turn. I do the same thing next turn. A lot of it depends on whether or not my opponent holds back more creatures. Yeah, it feels like no attacks, because if I take the Monarch, my opponent essentially gets 4 more damage. Oh, this is weird. Ooh. Okay, that's fine. So my opponent fetched and is now waiting. There's not Fatal Push. There's Chalice. I'm not sure exactly what's going on there. Alright, I'm taking that hit. I'm at 8. Seems like Murktide Region is happening. Murktide Region is happening. My Chalice has had minimal effect here. I don't really feel like I have lethal anymore. Do 8 damage pretty easily. Probably means that I play an uncounterable initiative creature, try to survive a turn. Opponent has 4 non-Murktide Regent bodies. Yeah, that seems fine. Game's all sorts of weird, though. Yeah, Wildfire, you might be right. They might have, like, another Bowmasters. Pick up a land. Oh, that actually costs me a mana. Shoot. No attacks. Oh, I wonder if I cost myself the game by doing that. Snuff out. So, if my opponent has another Orcish Bowmasters, I'm deterministically dead to Murktide Regent attack plus playing Orcish Bowmasters. So that's a thing. Oh, they also just have lethal in the air now. That's 10. Wait, they're unsure about something? I guess they can be playing around a Solitude. For what it's worth, I think you just go in with the flyers here. Yeah, and I am full dead to that. Okay, so we're essentially playing against Grixis Delver. I like swords a lot. Magus of the Moon is reasonable. A lot of my opponent's removal is Snuff Out, which is very awkward and makes Chalice considerably worse. Probably go Chalice out, Swords in, and then figure out what I do with Magus of the Moon. Like, Magus of the Moon is interesting because it's going to shut off my opponent's lands while also shutting off Snuff Out as a removal spell. This Monarch thing, like, I'm conceptually on board with it, but against Orcish Bowmasters, like, it's so awkward. I'm probably going down 3 copies of that for Magus of the Moon. Like, I'll keep 1 as a finisher, but Bowmasters, man. Hell yeah, to fill stream indeed. Bowmasters. Okay, for those of you that play EDH, like, Dockside Extortionist is the best, like, card in the format, right? Like, maybe outside of some other things like Soul Ring and Mana Crypt, but, like, card's insane. And Orcish Bowmasters feels kind of like the equivalent of that card. by legacy standards, where, oh, this hand's very good. Just uncounterable. Turn 1, fuck you, Magus of the Moon, if I want it. I am indeed a teacher. I am done with teaching for the school year, and I will be a part-time teacher next year. I'll teach some classes. I think I go for the turn 1 combo kill. Ooh, man. Get him. We also, like, coincidentally have a basic plains in our hand, which is real strong. Okay. You have it. 2 turn 1 plays. I did not expect that. I am not fully sure how well this deck supports Cavern of Souls if you're trying to play 3 or 4 copies of Forth. Like, it's very much not free. And we'll kind of see how it ends up doing. You know, I'm 3 matches deep with the deck list right now, so I have limited data. Second Dragon Rage Channeler has me a little sweaty. Daze is not currently live. My attack should be fine. This is a wizard. I guess we'll pre-combat this. Cavern, which does not get to name something. Ooh, no Force of Will here. These are mountains already, but I should never need double white. I am going to go ahead and just grab a mountain anyway. Already played a land in case something does end up happening to my Magus. Lotus Petal, yes, that can go to graveyard. I don't even know if they have basics. Like, ooh, no attack. Probably indicative of no basic. I'm foraging. I can make this immune to Lightning Bolt, but it's very awkward if they have Bolt here. I think I'm still going to just do that, though. Alright, my opponent has conceded. So, we still don't know if they have a basic. If they have a basic, it's probably a basic island. I think if they have the Bolt, they bolt it on their own turn. Like, presumably there's some cantrips locked in their hand or something, right? And I don't think I change anything about boarding here. I think taking them out of Magus of the Moon ever leaving play is quite strong. This hand's going to be a keep. Spirit Guide is potentially the thing that goes under this Chrome Mox. We'll kind of see. I can turbo this game if I'm willing to go down some resources. Like, I can just play an Archon into an Archon as my 2 plays. And I can start doing things on turn 1. I'm not sure that that is entirely correct. Like, my opponent's lands, ET being tapped, is quite strong. If I slow this game down, I can keep the Spirit Guide in hand to play around a Daze, and I could potentially keep this Solitude. Archon into Archon is very good if they have nothing, but I think quite bad if they have something. I think I'm just gonna chill here. I'm not sure if that's correct. Like, I have 0 reps against Orcish Bowmaster decks. Like, I don't know if just, like, giving them the time to put an early Orcish Bowmasters in play ends up cascading in a way that's negative for me. I just don't know. That's an interesting draw. So I guess first thing is, do I care about feeding an Archon to a Daze here? If I don't care about that, I can Archon this turn off another basic land, and then cast another Archon the following turn, and then, like, potentially hardcast a Solitude on some creature that they've played out. There just, like, might be a bunch of flash damage entering play at end of turn. And I don't know. I think I am willing to play an Archon into Daze here. I could City of Traders this turn. By City of Traders this turn, I have Archon into Archon playing around Daze, but then this becomes much more awkward to hardcast, and this probably becomes the thing that gets dazed. And I don't think I love Solitude getting dazed. So let's jam. Alright, I figured out where I liked the line. But, like, this gets dazed, this gets bolted, this gets snuff outed. Just, like, not my ideal. Yeah, there's Bowmasters. I do not intend on casting a Solitude on that card. It's pretty costly for me to do so without hard casting Solitude. If my opponent, like, wheels or something, it's a different story, but until something like that happens, I don't think I am too scared. Orcish Bowmasters putting multiple bodies on the field at the same time is pretty brutal. I also have drawn all of my basics, so Seasoned Dungeoneer isn't drawing me a card this turn if I play it. The I'm not going to respect days at all line is Solitude Pitch Archon on Dragon Rage Channeler, so my opponent doesn't get additional selection, and then play Seasoned Dungeoneer. But I think I'm interested in trying to build a board. I think I'm going to Solitude and stop the selection of Dragon Rage Channeler. And this, in theory, stops these from attacking. Although, like, man, Orcish Bowmasters is scary. Like, another one is horrifying. I don't know how good Archon is in that spot, right? Like, if I play the Archon, what am I really, truly working towards? Like, it slows my opponent down, but to what end? Would my opponent double block in this situation in any capacity? Maybe. I'm willing to ask the question and see how they feel. Alright, they like their bodies. I think since I can play 2 of these turn after turn, and I already have 1 more body in play, I am willing to jam here. I only have 3 basics. Orcish Bowmaster's ability to go wide here is quite good. So that's a 3/3 now, so we're trading as far as the initiative is concerned. I presume with 2 different bodies in play, I will be able to just, like, take the initiative back. I also just have another Seasoned Dungeoneer, which is fine as well. Alright, we are Wasteland proof at the moment. That's an interesting draw. I will probably play that before playing another Seasoned Dungeoneer. But we're rumbling. I've drawn a Caracas. Double block is acceptable. Alright, this is all fine. I'll take the initiative. I will forge up the body that I do have. And then I think we play another one of these around 8 days. Yep, this is fine. I am not excited about how some of my cards line up against my opponent's cards here. Alright. Wrap you down to 9. Another Bowmasters. So it feels like this turn could have gone better for my opponent if they sequenced their cards differently. Sure. What am I afraid of here? Marktide Regent can't happen with my opponent's mana the way it is. I am afraid of nothing because I have 1. GG's. Alright, it's round 4. We're 2-1 right now. I have a hand that can produce a turn 1 Archon of Emeria, but does not have another mana source to play a 4-drop beyond that. So I think I'm just going to ship this one and just try to find something a little more consistent, which is not this hand. We're going to go to 5. The 5-card hand is good. 2 mana, 3 mana, 4 mana, bam. Throw back those 2. Hello, it has been a hot minute since I have seen you. Hope life is treating you well. I'm just going to recount my mana here. 1, 2, 3, 4, cast. Yes. I thought Seas would do me dirty. This is fine. Kithion? Understood. Opponent going the aggro route. We are playing against some spice today, folks. Alright. From Mox. Pitch Solitude. City. This is my only access to red mana, so I think I cast Caves of Chaos Adventurer right now. Because any mana source next turn. No, that was wrong. I should have played Seasoned Dungeoneer because I want to fetch Mountain with this. I guess it doesn't matter. I still have white here. Never mind, it doesn't matter. Well, I mean, there's differences between the 2 lines. It's not that it doesn't matter literally at all. Bones, I would not be surprised. Flowering of the White Tree is very strong. I got 2 copies. Wow. I got 2 copies of that in a limited pool I was playing, and It was sick. So we're going to forge up our creature. We're going to go aggro. I wouldn't be overly surprised if my opponent dropped a Solitude or a Swords to Plowshares. This is a Barbarian, which is not one of the types triggered by this, so I don't need to play this pre-combat. Go ahead and attack with Caves of Chaos Adventurer and see if we draw something spicy. Here we go. Lotus Petal. I mean, it's free value. I'll take that. Alright, my opponent's at 13. I will cast this. I think it's fine to just make another land drop since I have a secondary City of Traders here. And we'll drop Seasoned Dungeoneer, which lets us trap the opponent down to 8, and I have a lot of power in play. And we'll see if my opponent can do something strong. Yeah, the extra mana to cast Forth for a higher X value is a thing that could matter. But I imagine that if I top deck one of those at this stage, my opponent is dead anyway, just due to 3 haste creatures plus 2 onboard bodies. And thank you to those of you that just followed. So, my opponent's floating mana. Okay, Shadow Spear was something I was kind of expecting. My opponent could attack with 2 creatures to take the initiative, but I don't really know where they go from there. Removal spell would be really good on their end. Okay, sure. I guess this also just gives them the initiative. That's fine. They will certainly have a basic plains in their deck. I don't know what we're going to do after we finish this league. I might just run back a second league with this deck. Or I might mess around and play some other game. Tomic. It has been a hot minute since I've seen a Tomic. Yeah, Flowering of the White Tree seems almost certainly to be in my opponent's deck. I mean, let's battle. I'm the beatdown here. Alright, draw a land. Exile a Fable. This has pro creatures, so I don't have to worry about blocks. Now, I have unironically played Tomic in multiple competitive REL events. I don't know that it is, like, objectively, like, a good card, what you would traditionally call good, but it has been a metagame player at times. Not really looking to see a Chrome Mox here. The Shadow Spear is a little annoying, but my opponent is at 2. So life's probably okay. We'll go ahead and make a Fable token. My opponent gets to forge up this construct and then put 2 more artifacts into play. The Shadow Spear is not messing around. I'm just not sure if my opponent has the time to recover from my relatively blistering start. If they do have the time to recover, they also have to kill me quickly before I just get the backside of this and start copying initiative creatures. I think the game is over one way or another before that happens, though. This is the second match where I have really wanted Fury in this deck list. Mox Amber. Alright. Alright. I dig this. So this is gonna trigger, right? Okay, this is I probably need to trade this Goblin or Kythian. Otherwise, it just redirects my damage in a pretty negative way for me. When it gains 6, going to 8. I'm going to be able to loot away some lands, which is nice. Like, I'll loot away Ancient Tomb and Chrome Mox as of right now. And then Throne of the Dead 3 is going to happen. I can forge up the untapped construct. Another Kythian. Okay. Chalice is not good here. Chrome Mox is the worst card in my hand. I don't think I can play Ancient Tomb Life. I will keep a Chalice. Okay. So, how do I not die to the robots? I am probably hard casting this Solitude on the Shadow Spear equipped construct. I just attack with Seasoned Dungeoneer to take the initiative. Or alternatively, I attack with both, block with the construct token, trades Caves of Chaos Adventurer. I have Solitude for the construct token. I can also trample through for some points of damage. I'm attacking with both. Like, I have both constructs handled. Pick 4. I have to be concerned about trap as well. I think I think between Solitude and my extra creature from the Undercity, that's going to be fine. All right. Do I put Archon of Emeria into my graveyard? I think no. I think I leave that there so I can have the option to get a flyer. Oh, right. This is going to happen. I should have stacked those triggers the other way. I guess I couldn't have known exactly, right? All right. So let us Throne of the Dead 3. Oh, that is just another Solitude. That is very safe then. I am fine with just doing that. Let's take this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will have another Solitude up as well. This should be fine. And I can Solitude in combat as well. Or like I can Solitude in response to, say, a Shadow Spear equip. Lots of low to the ground decks today. Like more creatures than I would have expected. And again, I don't know that like this Bomat Courier day has been super, super typical. But I'll take this. I would like atypical games for a rare fill stream. Daedric, I don't think you need to play Delighted Halfling unless you're ramping into things that cost more mana, like your Teferis, your One Rings, your Minsc and Boos, that sort of stuff. I don't think you need to ramp into like Tomics and Kytheons, right? We've put them in a hard spot. Like, they're very actively thinking whether or not they have a way out of this. I think with my second Solitude, the answer is no. Yes, I am sponsored by Cardhoarder. They have given me a complimentary loan account, and honestly, like truly, I have loved their service. Fast delivery times, and they almost always have everything that I need. The only exception is right after some crazy new cards are released, it takes a while for those to get in stock. So, for example, getting something like the One Ring right now through Cardhoarder would probably be impossible. We haven't seen Flowering of the White Tree yet, but we 100% expect that my opponent is playing it. Have I ever considered playing Commander on MTGO? I personally find Spell Table, that is webcam magic, for Commander much more pleasant than playing it on Magic Online. Magic Online like has so many stops that I think it makes a game of Commander miserable if you actually need to hold up interaction of any kind. What is this? Our opponent casts a spell if no mana was spent to cast it, counter it. Okay, I'm paying for my Solitude, that's fine. Sacrifice it. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. The ring tempts you. Okay, got it. So Tomic crashes in. I'll go ahead and pay my mana for my Solitude. And take out that Tomic. My phone is just like, hey. Yeah. A little rough. I see why my opponent is playing this card in their specific shell, but I don't know that it is good enough, generally speaking, for Legacy. All right, I get to venture back in here. I get this back. How much mana do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can play Caves of Chaos Adventurer into Archon. It's probably pretty good. Without thinking about my turn very much. This seems insane. Okay, yeah, that's enough for my opponent to concede there. So, I think every round I've boarded out Chalice and boarded in Swords to Plowshares. I think I might like Lauren as well, just sort of preemptively assuming that Flowering of the White Tree? One tree. Flowering of the White Tree? White Tree. Is good. And going to be in my opponent's deck. Chalices are out for Swords. I legit might just continue to play this card, even though I think introducing the Monarch into the game is awkward, just as a way to go and play a bunch of 2/2 creatures that can just block my opponent's small creatures. So Lauren's a little awkward because like my opponent does have Karakas, but I still think I want to play it. Archon's not at its best here. Or it is a flyer, and like that's definitely relevant in this matchup. Since my opponent has evasive things like Tomic that otherwise can threaten to take my initiative in a way that I don't like. Touch is slow removal versus my opponent's stuff. Like, it's technically removal, but I think my removal with their creatures is going to be trading bodies a lot of the time. And I think that leaves me with trimming one of those. I don't know, like a 2/3 butt is really nice, assuming my opponent doesn't have an Anthem. Maybe I cut one Fable. I think I'll reverse those on the if I go to a game 3. Hello, Paul. I'm gonna ask my opponent for their list. Okay, what does this hand do? 1 mana, 2 mana, 1 mana, 2 mana, imprint Lauren, turn 1 season Dungeoneer. Okay. An opponent has confirmed they will send me their list. Ooh, right, I'm on a mulligan. Or no, I'm not. Keep these 7. My opponent's going to 5 though. Oh, thank you for that. I've been working hard on improving the quality of the YouTube videos. And I feel like it's showing. I'm very much a fan of the new introduction format, and it seems like most other people are as well. Yeah, it's the delicate balance of putting some like love and polish and editing time in versus making sure I can get out 5 videos a week without going mad. I'm still working on the balance. Like, I'm not sure if I should show the deck list right at the beginning, just kind of briefly show what I'm doing and then like zoom in on me talking about the cards afterwards. I'm still gathering feedback about that exactly. All right, it is a Saga game. Sure. Okay. Oh no. Oh chat, we're in trouble. This fuck. Oh, that's so bad. I think I misplayed. I think I should have pitched Lauren to cast an end of turn Solitude. Like, I think that was a clear mistake. Now I guess I'm doing that twice on my opponent's turn instead. Just pitch, attack for 6, down 3 points of damage and 3 life for my line. Alright. Turn 1 Hushbringer was not something that I was super ready for here. Also flies, so I can't ambush it with these. Alright, I'm at 19. And everything is ETB creatures over here. Alright, 6 lifelinky. This Urza Saga is just going to outscale these, though. So this is the plan? Alright. I accept. Forth Eorlingas. I make no claims about whether or not some of those old chat commands work. Some of those may be a little dusty. Alright, my opponent eats 5 here. Goes to 16. I do become the Monarch. Some much needed source of card advantage. We are going to trade that back and forth. That's not the sort of card that I would like to see here. My opponent gets to do gross Urza Saga things. Gondor, indeed, is not getting much aid. Budget's tight. Alright, as expected, Shadow Spear is hitting play. Oh, Ganja Castle's super cute in this list. My cards don't line up super well versus this construct, which is unfortunate. Like, my opponent will either be... Oh, that's such a good draw. This is one of my very few ways to remove Hushbringer. If I attack with both of my creatures, how does my opponent block? Like, do they take the free 2/2? They probably take the free 2/2, right? Like, life totals aren't threatened. Trading the Monarch back and forth, fine. My opponent retaining the Monarch is a problem. This other Urza Saga token is also a problem. The fact that I'm tight on mana, also not great. I think I am going to leverage my current advantage and try to draw another card here. And just hope that my large creatures and my ability to Luxac into another Swords to Plowshares at some point in this game will get me there. I don't know that I'm winning the long game versus Shadow Spear plus Urza Saga. Okay. With another white card, that becomes pretty reasonable. Again, though, Hushbringer, a little rough. We'll also see if the 3 points of damage that I missed turn 1 is a problem. Oh, wait, we got a Brotato update? Oh, that's sick. Make myself a note to check that out then. All right. Archon of Emeria. I can imprint a Solitude to play an Archon. Shadow Spear is a long-term problem. I can throw away a Solitude to draw a random card. I don't know how good that actually is right now. I think I have to leave my opponent with the Monarchy for a turn. Dance my own mana here. This at least stops the Hushbringer attacks, even with a Shadow Spear equipped. I don't want to be grinding it out versus this deck. Sort of interestingly, if I had removed the Hushbringer, my other top deck Solitude here would have allowed me to clear the board. But I would just attack with Solitude last turn, tried to trade Swords, Hushbringer. That gets a little weird. Okay, sure. Alright, so my opponent is just going to keep drawing cards here. Now I'm in the same position as before, where my attacks are just not great. And any turn where I don't attack, my opponent gets an extra card. I can't attack and then hold. I think I'm holding this Spirit Guide to play like a Seasoned Dungeoneer if I draw one. I don't usually stream. This is sort of a special occasion here. The old birthday stream. Plus, I owed you all a stream from a fundraiser I did like way back in January. So it's overdue. But I'm kind of just reaching the point now that I actually have some time to realistically do a lot of things that have been on my to-do list. Trying to full-time teach while also full-time content creating was not going well. That's very good. I guess we'll find out if my opponent is playing something like Touch the Spirit Realm. That can just counter this effectively. So here comes my flyer. It might die to one of these. Okay, it dies to a Swords. Alright, but my initiative creatures are live again. That's the good news. The bad news is my opponent is like massively outdrawing me. And at the end of the day, they still do have the bigger creature and the better lifelink as well with this. I would consider streaming more, but YouTube has been my fuck you, Hushbringer. YouTube has been my focus, and I have felt very good about that decision, and I don't expect that to really change. 2 more Swords to Plowshares remaining in my deck. I don't think I need to play that here. Twitch has just like almost never been good for content creators in terms of financial outlooks. Like, when I moved to YouTube and started taking that seriously, I just absolutely immediately overtook any money I had ever made on Twitch, and it was not close. Like, I've grown a lot as a content creator. Hey, there's a good boy. This triggers on legendary permanents, by the way. Yep. I get to start chipping away at these with Caracas. Oh, shoot. Wait, no, that's fine. That's not how that card works. Alright, bounce Tomek. Wait, wasn't Tomek played after Yoshimaru? Does this have a counter? Yes, yes. Yeah, that seems like it should have a counter. Oh, Hushbringer. Right. Combo. Fable's quite good. I think I have to play this city, though. I think I need this Caracas up to just kind of keep the creatures at bay. Alright, good stuff. I think Hushbringer is doing a good enough job at what it's doing, though, that, like, the Nanbo is acceptable. I wonder if this will end up being, like, a timeout win. I'm not actively playing towards that, but it might just happen. Like, we are both at or above 20 life right now, and it is turn 9. Hey, Mr. Lee. Hope all is well. It is a birthday stream over here. We're just celebrating, having a good time. Playing grindy games of Magic with fair white creatures. You know, the usual. Alright, that's Legend Rule on a flagstone. Okay, so Hushbringer stops creatures. It doesn't stop other stuff. The good boy gets a counter. And we'll continue shipping creatures out of here. Indeed, old enough to drink. Might do some sake tonight. I will absolutely bin both of those cards. All right, Seasoned Dungeoneer. That is great. So I do not get the initiative ETB here. That just doesn't happen because of Hushbringer. But I will be able to attack with protection through the rest of my opponent's stuff. Ugh. I think I'm still just chilling. I'm trying to wait this out. Monarch situation is awful for me. That Urza Saga is a problem. Did I board in Magus of the Moon? I don't think I boarded in Magus of the Moon. I did not. Apparently would have been good. And we'll continue to take some chip damage. Damage isn't that big of a deal. My opponent's accumulated card advantage is, though. I think this Urza Saga probably beats me. Am I at the point where I want to throw away a body to take the initiative and try to get another draw here? I might be. Things are about to start getting bad. I think I'm going to go ahead and bounce the dog and throw away one of these tokens and convert one of these tokens into another card. I think that is acceptable. Stop it! I didn't want to throw away the Solitude because I wanted to be able to copy that body. Alright. Rough. I thought we set up a command for that. There you go. Oh, Mom. Mom is a problem. Meanest Tiarath. Does that make a soldier? No, it draws a card. Okay. Things got real scary all of a sudden, folks. I think I'm taking 6 here. Rough. Okay. Well, that's probably good. My opponent can make a 5/5 creature or prevent some damage to a legendary creature. I probably continue to keep this stuff out and then go big from there. All right, X is 4. I guess Swords to Plowshares is a thing that I could care about. Okay, you've got that. When it has 3 blockers, I think I like this attack, hold back the reflection to maybe do some broken things later. This at least draws me 1 card and takes the monarchy back. All right. I become the monarch for multiple different reasons. This Hushbringer is really just cramping my style, though. Like, I just do not have the capacity to keep and hold the monarch here. And now, like, Mother of Runes complicates things a lot as well, and means that I can never really remove the Hushbringer. My opponent can also start turning the corner here in terms of aggression. I think I'm dead. Did not draw another go forth here. So I think the plan has to be survive and rip another go forth next turn or something. My opponent's not going to time out. That's not an out. Like, I can bounce Tomic, play a Solitude. Oh, yeah. Actually, I'm not dead to that. I get to cast a Solitude. Bouncing a Tomic is worse than just copying a Solitude. Blocks on a construct just to save more. I can, like, block, 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 take 4. Or I can start whittling these down. Like, blocks here. No, this requires... What about this? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's over blocking. I take 4, go to 6. I have no gas left. I eliminate one of these. That might just be worse than chumping all around then. Okay. A 4th isn't lethal. Wrath of God in my deck. There's Athalia, Heretic Cathar. Skrilev. Okay, we are seeing some spice here. I don't think I'm on any outs. There's just so many bodies. I have been overwhelmed. We never saw flowering of the white tree, but it's like certainly there, right? This isn't producing a body. At this point, I am comfortable conceding. That was a slog of a game. Oh! That was game 2. That was game 2, folks. Magus in? Magus in seems reasonable. Alright. Give me a second. Okay, so Chalice on 1 is pretty reasonable, but not game-ending when I am on the play. I haven't seen a tree yet in a lot of cards. I think I'm going to board Lauren's out for Magus. And then, like, maybe go down 1 Archon. I think that's how I'm going to play this. I think I keep these as a finisher. It's possible I'm just supposed to, like, play Chalice and turtle up. What about, like, Archon versus Fable? I think I like Fable for the looting here. Although Archon for non-basic land stuff is really good. It's possible I should cut some of these. 1 mana, 2 mana, 3 mana on turn 1 is turn 1 Fable of the Mirror Breaker. This will be a keep. You have to think about what Chrome Mox is imprinting. Shouldn't matter too much. I think I put Caves of Chaos Adventurer under there. This is perhaps not my ideal start. It should be fine. I'm going to remove the stop on my opponent's upkeep. That's fine. That's less fine. Okay, that got big fast. Okay, yes, I will use this ability. This is not looking ideal here. I'm gonna go ahead and just loot that away. A Solitude. That's fine. Do I throw this away to just play Seasoned Dungeoneer? I think I do. I think I intend on like Seasoned Dungeoneer plus copying it as being the way that I win this game. That's fine. Human. And we'll pick up a mountain here. And call it a turn. Urza Saga is back. It would be a great time to draw a Blood Moon. I'm afraid of Swords to Plowshares here. That's one of the absolute scariest cards. Fuck! My opponent's hand is very good here. And this can serve as a Mother of Runes effect. Definitely a little worried about losing this one to this card plus Urza Saga tokens. We shouldn't have conceded the last game. Like, these seconds are going to matter. The game had gone on for so long that I forgot we were in game 2. Sure. Ooh, yeah, that's quite good. Means that my blocking prospects are much worse. Take 6 here. This land enters tapped. Oh. Well, that's very good. Do I need this cavern on anything? I guess I'll put it on elemental. This is awkward. I'm about to make this not castable. Alright. There's a Magus of the Moon. That's going to destroy Urza Saga, but I think the damage is done this game. Like, I just get trapped here. I'm getting attacked for a gajillion damage. And my blockers from Reflection of Kiki Jiki enter tapped. I think my opponent just aggroes me down a little bit too quickly here. Oh, no. That's very good here. Yeah. So this is lethal damage unless I block something with 3 power. Doesn't, yeah. That's super inconvenient. Let's make another Magus for funsies. Yeah, but I'm just at 2 life here. This is not gonna do it. I will fall just short here. GG's. Alright, final round here. I have an awkward hand in that I don't have white mana to do the thing that I need to do with this, and I can't cast this, so this hand is an auto mulligan. This hand is fine. I will keep this. This is... Wait, do I want to do this? Do I want the one that can't be blocked? I think I take the one that can't be blocked and is immune to Lightning Bolt. In the dark when I don't know what my opponent is playing. Yeah, it's basically Black Lotus. Yeah, you got it. What card goes back is kind of interesting. Like, if I keep Caracas between Caracas and the following land, I can reasonably cast things that I draw. But it may be incorrect to just not keep a second piece of gas here. I'm going to keep this. I think I'm going to go ahead and pitch Caves of Chaos Adventurer. And keep the ability to cast spells that I draw. Yeah, Jerry, shoot me an email or something, and we can work that out. Yeah, it's small pockets of cards that aren't available. Unfortunately, they are pockets of cards from incredibly high power sets, so that's a thing. Ooh, my opponent's on 5. How will you do versus my Storm deck on 5? Alright, 1, 2, 3. Remember when they let us play White Plume Adventurer in this format? That was kind of fucked up. Alright, this stop can come back now. Oh. Alright. So, how do you sideboard against that? Yeah, Black Lotus is good. Is it like a Doomsday deck that just couldn't race that? Is it a fair deck that just couldn't realistically beat that clock? It's probably not an opposing combo deck. They could potentially race that. Something like Chalice is worse. Magus of the Moon is maybe reasonable. Just like do some generic punishment. I have sideboarded out Chalice for Swords in most rounds and felt okay about that. But if I want Chalice, I like really want Chalice. My opponent also mulliganed 5, so maybe I can't read too deeply into this. Like their hand just couldn't beat an initiative thing, so they gave me 0 information. I'm gonna submit the main deck again. I don't think I want to accidentally just level myself with thoughts here, and the answer was just like my opponent kept a 1-lander that couldn't beat a turn 1 season Dungeoneer. Okay, so I can play a turn 1 Chalice of the Void, and turn 2 become the Monarch. In the absence of knowing what my opponent is doing, I think that is a reasonable keep. My opponent's on a full 7 this time. Okay. So Magus in would have been good. My Chalice of the Void is probably bad. We're probably what is that? Or Fable of the Mirror Breaker already? Okay. I'm not on that build. This is gonna be okay. It's actually a little awkward. I can't actually cast the second one because I have double Cavern of Souls. I wish one of those was a plateau. Here's the Saga Construct tokens are also a problem. I think I am still going to go ahead and play this on 1 and then just pass the turn. I think that's worth my 2 life in not knowing exactly what my opponent is doing. Okay. But we are in the depths ballpark. Magus would be quite good. Chalice of the Void, not so much. How do I feel about this Monarch situation currently? It's probably my only shot to beat Merit Lodge. Here's a Saga can get Expedition Map. But I'm not overly fond of my situation. Yeah, for example, if I draw a Solitude off of my end of turn Monarch trigger, this looks really good. And again, if we trade if we trade Monarch back and forth, that's something that's okay with me. It's when my opponent can hold it that it's a problem for me. And here's the Saga's good here. Get in there, little buddies. Your noble sacrifice will not be in vain. Let the sub-game begin. It's an awkward sub-game. I just kind of have the wrong texture of hand here. Ooh, that's good. That's real good. I will have to decide whether that's an answer to a Merit Lodge or an answer to a Construct token. Like, my opponent has a bunch of different ways they can play out this game now. And I do love occasionally when my called shots do go in my favor. That's nice. So this is the point where I should make my decision about whether or not I Solitude this creature. I think I do. Maybe I don't. I'm gonna let them make this decision. I might end up giving them a couple more points of life. I don't think this game is going to come down to singular points of life, but I really need to know whether or not this is just going to be an expedition map or whether it's a Shadow Spear. It is a Shadow Spear. The trample is a little rough. or next turn. Like, I can take 5 and then not attack. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and remove this. I gave them 2 more points of life to wait to see whether this was Shadow Spear or not. But let's remove this and just try to sculpt a game plan. That is not sculpting a game plan. I don't really have 2 drops to speak of. Can't Solitude right now. Stopping a potential life from the loam could be a big deal. I don't know exactly what build my opponent is on. It's going to go on human. And we'll see whether or not that ends up being worth some points of life. Thank you, Costa. Force of Vigor? Oh, no. Okay. Well, that was pretty good. Now my opponent can take the Monarch back. That's happening because of the trample. The life gain amount's relevant as well. I don't want that chalice. I don't want it. This one can maybe go on elemental for white for solitude. Actually, I should have just played that. I should have just made a basic land drop. That is actively a mistake. They don't have access to something like Swords to Plowshares here. Pick this up. I think I do attack in to become the Monarch. Like, we're in an every card matters situation for sure. Oh, that's a burn spell. Oh, but my opponent's at 26. Shadow Spear's real. Ah. Chalice being gone because of the Force of Vigor opens that up. That's pretty brutal. I am at 7, which means Ancient Tomb starts becoming scary to tap. Alright, sure. Opponent's got a few cards. Crop rotation is a thing that could happen. A lot of emblems on the other side of the battlefield over there. Don't want Chrome Mox. I presumably get to attack in and become the Monarch. Crop rotation for Maze of Ith could stop that. I think I'm interested in playing this game like this. Okay. So now we're going to make a large number of untapped creatures. There we go. So I may have played that turn too conservatively. Maybe I'm supposed to attack in with a second creature, but like Forge is terrifying, especially when followed by Trapped. Actually, maybe I can't tap Ancient Tomb there because of Trap. Or maybe I just need to remove this construct no matter what. Maybe I'm just not winning if my opponent holds the initiative. Yeah, the issue with swinging with extra bodies, though, is that this attack becomes much scarier. Like, my opponent can just, like, let it happen and then crack me back. Whereas my plan is hopefully take this out of play and then take back initiative and Monarch. The blocks here are weird. Like, I can block with a couple of tokens, but I'm hoping this works out. Sure, but if I Saga's a problem. I'm just going to be constantly in range of trap for most of the rest of this game. Oh, Life from the Loam. Returning Saga and Stage. Okay. Not great for me. Got 38 to do. Ancient Tomb is not going to help there. I do get to take initiative back. Come on. I have a family. That's a second Maze of Ith, so that's maze this. Trap kills me, and I have no out to that. I will concede. Yeah, that was pretty brutal. All right, so now I know what I'm playing against, which means these are the cards that are on the table. Chalice is probably coming out despite the fact that it does have real text. Like, if my opponent is going to play Force of Vigor versus me anyway, like, I might as well try to blank that card. And then it's just a question of, like, what ratios of the rest of the stuff I want to do here. Some number of fourths probably come out here. There's a lot of options. Elite Spellbinder, Thalia, Anointed Peacekeeper. But I think I want these despite the fact that, like, there is some Merit Lodge awkwardness. And now it's just like, how many swords do I need to play to respect Merit Lodge? It may just be that I have to cut all of these. Lauren is in respect of Urza's Saga. And Saga Construct Tokens, the swords, is in respect of Merit Lodge. I could go deeper and play the fourth swords over like one Fable or something. I don't think I get to mess around with Graveyard Hate, nor do I want to. Touch is an uncounterable way of dealing with Merit Lodge. And also kills a Construct token. I guess I can go down a Fable if I am replacing it with a bunch of other 3-drop plays. That was a little awkward. I want to turn 1 Magus of the Moon. I have to imprint Fable of the Mirrorbreaker, which means that the white cards in my hand are dead. If I turn 1 Fable, I give my opponent a chance to like fetch or something. But Fable allows me to like play a turn 2 Seasoned Dungeoneer, which is really strong. And then like I end up on a turn 3-ish Magus of the Moon. The hand's a keep, one way or another. I go the Fable route, and my opponent has Swords to Plowshares, then these cards end up getting stuck in my hand. Yeah, awkward keep. Like the hand's good. There's a couple different ways to play it. I think I'm playing it the Fable way. I think Fable into Seasoned Dungeoneer is just kind of the strongest thing they can be doing. I'm not crazy, right? Like one of my creatures got Swords to Plowshared last game. That was last game, right? Yeah, Chromox is 100% in. It's very, very good. All right, I think I'm going to commit to the Fable line. Print Magus. Drop Fable. Force of Vigor would be gross. Cool. No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not mad. You're mad. I still do get to play a turn 2 Seasoned Dungeoneer. Like, it is not the end of the world, but that was a very good trade for my opponent. All right, I've got something to think about here. I always hit my opponent for 2. And then it's like, do I Chrome Mox Solitude or do I just throw away City of Traders? Solitude's really nice for some of the fail cases that could beat me, but would be very hard to cast. So if I play Seasoned Dungeoneer, I get a land. So making my land drops is good. I eventually outpace City. The Solitude is very hard to cast right now. I don't think I want to throw away a card worth of value here. I want to keep this Solitude in hand. But I don't think that is a clear-cut decision. It's just like so good if I draw a white card as extra insurance. Again, not super hard castable right now, though. I'm really hoping to just go down the left side and kill my opponent. I don't think I want to go into scry mode. Like, if I do the Chrome Mox Solitude line, I think that's committing to going down the right side. And, like, while that's fine, I want to kill my opponent before they can assemble Merit Lodge, if possible. Yeah, this is great for me. I think my counters go on the Shaman token here, so that I am splitting my resources for a potential removal spell. But Seasoned Dungeoneer, like, stacking everything on Seasoned Dungeoneer is also reasonable, but, like, Maze of Ith is a thing that exists in this matchup, so I think splitting is better. Alright, counters over here. There is a white card. Pretty good one in the matchup at that. So let's battle. Swords to Plowshares. It seems like I junk that, right? I have a Solitude that covers a Merit Lodge already. I think I want an extra threat. I think that's what I'm digging for. Something like Urza Saga is too slow. But it's like the sword's not bad. It's a white card for Solitude. Like, it's a guaranteed white card. But the mana's awkward. Because I make my land drop this turn, that's 2 mana. 2 treasures is 4 mana. Archon would cost 4 mana, so I don't have Archon plus that up. I'm gonna junk that card. Alright, my opponent goes to 10. I have lethal next turn in theory. Maze of Ith and Friends can mess that up. I'm not super going to count on being able to cast my stuff super easily. My opponent does have a Rishadan Port. I wonder if my opponent playing their Sphere of Resistance was a mistake or not. I don't know their hand. I legitimately can't tell, but it seems like they're in a tough spot. They are probably about to be at either dead or 1 life. Alright, Yavimaya is good. So let's trap my opponent here. Brings them to 5. Alright, and that is the concession point here for a 3-2 finish in that league. Alright, that was a great league. It was very grindy, but I give this deck list a thumbs up. I will say though, I don't think the deck list is perfect as is. I think it is going to require a little bit of work and tuning, especially in regards to the mana base. Cavern of Souls, for example, is worse in this build, as you've probably gone from about 24 creatures down to 20 creatures, and Cavern of Souls not giving you red or white mana for Forth Eorlingas is definitely a problem. I also really wanted Fury in today's video, but like when you're playing both Fury and Solitude, you're definitely going to run out of cards quickly, even if you can sometimes become the Monarch to recoup some of those costs. So that's a thing as well. I don't know if you're going to play this card if you get away with some of the utility lands like Caracas in your list. You probably need 4 plateaus, and I think the mana base is going to be the biggest thing that needs adjustment. I also will say that Touch the Spirit Realm is probably worse in this deck than in a more traditional, more creature-heavy version of the build. That definitely feels expendable to me. And one kind of last thought here is, while Magus of the Moon is very good in this deck and helps with a problem card, Urza's Saga in particular, you have 2 basic planes in the deck, I think, and that means a lot of times you're going to be locked out of casting one of your major win conditions if you do play a Magus of the Moon, so there's a little bit of tension there. Alright, but I hope I've shown you that this card is the real deal and should be on your radar. I hope you enjoyed the video, and remember, if you end up wanting to buy some sweet new cards for your Boros Initiative deck or anything else, Cool Stuff Inc., promo code ThrabenU, you get to save 5%, and I hope you all have a great rest of the day. See ya.